I've covered Roll and Play Press's products, okay, and I am an affiliate, and so it is in my interests to cover these things. But first came my discovery of said products and my realisation that they were fantastic and did the exact job that I wanted to help not only me but others. And I've tried numerous times to catch the creator in person for an interview, and I finally managed it. So it's great to finally get to talk to Sam Bartlett. But just a 1 minute reminder of what's in their products. So first came their Game Masters Fantasy Toolkit, which I have done videos on. Character motivations, world building, rumours and gossips, drinks, journeys and events, deep sea encounters. It's all extremely strong for pulling out quick ideas, patrons, fiendish contracts, injuries. Every table that DMs need because DMs made it. Such a strong product. And then they followed it up with this magnum opus currently. One-shot ideas in areas, that's it. All that information is your one-shot, and it's, believe me, it's everything you need. And then shorter ideas, just wonderful and so useful. But they've even done it for sci-fi backgrounds too. You know, this is for the GM to make a sci-fi world, and this is for the sci-fi characters and their character building. Such a good product. Anyway, yes, there is a link in the description to get a discount. But now here's over to me and Sam. And here is the man himself, Sam. Sam, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good to chat.
It's good to see you. Right, so I want to talk to you about, I suppose everyone starts at the beginning, but I'm picturing you DMing somewhere, sat at a table,
Yeah.
and realising that there's a hole to be filled, or you think, I want to do something in this space. Can you tell me about the person with the idea but nothing else, and what happened then?
Yeah, Sam of 2018, 19, I suppose. When was it? It must have been 2017 or 18 or something. I knew my friends would love D&D, and I didn't know much about it myself. So I kind of badgered them into a game, and they loved it, and I loved it too.
Yeah.
And the rest is history, I suppose. But the more we ran games, and the more we played with each other, and I was GM and turned into the forever GM for them. The more I felt like I needed a bit of backup, and I had a whole load of random tables saved on like Instagram and printed out in a folder and things, and tucked behind my GM screen. But whenever my friends would ask me something specific, like what's his name, or what does a potion taste like, or something, I just couldn't find the table in time, or I spent a couple of minutes flicking through to try and find the content that I needed. So I used to work in publishing. I suppose I still do, but I used to work for a publisher as a graphic designer, and so I think in books, it's how it's even at university studying visual communication. Books were always kind of my format and typography, and so I just had this idea for if only there was some kind of like wire-bound book, because I would need to lay it flat, and I could easily kind of fold it in half so it wouldn't take up any space behind my GM screen. This book of random tables would be awesome, because then whenever my friends would ask me, who's that NPC, I could just have it in front of me, flick to it.
Yeah.
So that was me, and and that was the idea of the Roll and Play Game Masters Fantasy Toolkit.
So no trepidation, no, this is going to be a lot of work, no, should I do this?
before I launched the project.
Yeah, just thinking, no, this is work. I've already got a job. This is going to be a lot of work. Was it an instant click, or was it a mull it over? Yeah, I think I will.
So I suppose it was a project that I wanted to do for me, really. It was something I needed, and then 2020 hit and lockdown happened, and so I was at home working on my dining room table like everyone else. And I just thought, well, I'm not commuting anymore. Why don't I pick up that project? Why don't I do that wire-bound book? So I did. It was never supposed to be a Kickstarter. It was never supposed to be anything like it is now. So I kind of just prodded at it now and then in the evenings. I'd write down some ideas. I know that the tavern spread was one of the first ones I started on, just writing down a few tavern names. And so I had a few pages of it complete before the Kickstarter even launched. And actually, the Kickstarter was really just supposed to be a hobby thing. I was never supposed to leave my job. And I was going to make this book anyway. So I thought, oh, Kickstarter's a thing out there. That I'd backed a couple of Kickstarters, didn't really know anything about Kickstarter, and thought Kickstarter's this thing where people go and put their projects out there. So I thought, oh, I'll do that. I'll probably sell a few copies. And I thought, I'll sell maybe 10. That'll be good. I'd go down like a local printer, bind it up when it's done, and then just go to the post office and post it out on little kind of jiffy bags.
Yeah.
And it was more than that. And a lot of people found that project. And in 30 days, we had 7,500 game masters from across the world saying, yes, I would buy that if you made it. Completely overwhelming demand. And it blew up.
Well, I must say, when I saw your products, maybe on a Facebook scroll one time, I was like, oh, that is what I need. I mean, yes, I myself log my phone to the brim with random roll tables.
Oh, yeah.
Far too many to ever really know. And as you say, sometimes in the game you think, I know I've got tables for that, but it's just going to slow the moment down. I need something snappier. So, yes, tavern names is a good example. NPC names. That is the bread and butter of what a DM needs.
Yeah.
Now, I can see in this product, you didn't just go for that. You monstrous features, magic items. I mean, cave encounters, meadow encounters. So you went through all the encounters. The town features, the town crier news, and the gossip. It's like, hang on, this guy has too many ideas. This is someone who seems to think of an idea which leads to 5 ideas. And then even you've sort of met the need on one page, and then you can't seem to help but go, the band is called da-da-da. They mostly
That was a fun one.
Yeah, it's like, there's no stopping you. And yet, what catches me about your products is that D&D themselves and internet, they have a go at these tables. There are tables out there, but yours are themed and dialed in, and I'm really impressed mostly that it does exactly what it sets out to do.
Thanks.
It's not like, okay, let's give it an encounter. Okay, a troll on a bridge and you have to pay the toll or he won't let you past, and okay, you might be able to feed him some food, but your one-shot wonders, I thought, well, yeah, 100 ideas just off the cover. I thought, that's just inspiration. I'll use it for inspiration.
Yeah.
But they're so dialed in. It's not just a troll on a bridge. It's go to this pub and there's bones, and it's come from a local graveyard where there's a guy on a warhorse. And it's like, it's so 100%, but then you always put extra things on. 100 one-shot ideas is one thing, but when you look, you keep going, and it's like, oh, do you want some riddles? Here's some riddles. Do you want some traps? Here's a world setting, Mirabilis, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But it's
Mirabilis,
like,
we call it. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, though.
It's your world. But yeah, you over-deliver. And it's like, you don't just over-deliver garbage. Here's some extra stuff, remnants.
Roll and play press. We over-deliver garbage.
Yeah, but it's easy to keep going, and then surely your ideas don't ever seem to be rubbish. So I'm wondering what hits the editing floor.
Oh, right. What doesn't make it in?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a great question. I think a lot of all of this stuff really. I'm just still doing what I've always done. I'm just trying to help myself. In that, like, I need random tables. I'll make a book of random tables. I need one shots that I can prep in like 20 minutes because, a lot of times I don't always have time to prep games. So I need a book of one shots, and the layout needs to be really clear because I haven't got much time to prep. So that's kind of how One Shot Wonders was born. And actually, I had that idea for One Shot Wonders at the same time as the Random Table Game Masters Toolkit. It just came a little bit later once I'd finished writing the first one. But what hit the cutting room floor? It's an interesting editing process, actually, when we were writing One Shot Wonders, because we were very intentional about all of the adventures. We had, and you'll see at the start of every adventure, there's three keywords. There's a kind of theme, and then there's like an objective, and then there's a location it takes place in. And we were really intentional with the chapters being divided into different environments. And then within those environments, we wanted to make sure we had some spooky adventures in every environment, some thrilling adventures in every environment. And that actually helped the editorial process a lot, because then we could think, okay, we need an Arctic spooky adventure with a delivery objective. What kind of adventure would we have in the Arctic that's spooky, that has a delivery objective? And then you can kind of brainstorm from there, really, and so on throughout the book. So it really helped to give ourselves a structure when making One Shot Wonders, because otherwise it is very difficult to try and fill 100 different adventures. There's a lot of adventures in that book, but with a structure, we were able to make sure that we were ticking all the boxes we wanted to tick, and come up with some really creative, fun stories while doing so.
So maybe that is the answer, the fact that you're from bookmaking mindset, that you're like, there's 5 locations, we need 10 different things for each, and you can see it in a spreadsheet on a whiteboard, whatever. Maybe that is, your way of doing it, and that is the best way of doing it, because it's worked. Surely it's exceeded your expectations. This is award-winning stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's bonkers. I mean, yeah, we love making content. I love making content. I love writing stories. I always have, and now I get to do it as a job. And I think the amazing thing now with One Shot Wonders is it's been an idea for so long, and then we launched the Kickstarter and it did really well, and then we had to go and write it. So we spent a good chunk of time, like 6 months, 8 months, writing the book. But now it's published. So it published last November. So it's now a full year since its publication. And what's really nice now is we're seeing One Shot Wonders kind of boomerang back at us. Yeah. So where, we were trying to tell people all about these amazing adventures they can have. Now, a year on, people are telling us about the amazing adventures that they've had because of One Shot Wonders. And that is just joy. It is an absolute privilege to have been able to be part of people's adventures and the time that they get to spend with their friends or kids or whoever it is, social clubs, scout groups. Like to be a part in that and to get the emails where people tell us all about their adventures is just like it just fills my heart. Yeah. And I love every single story we hear of from One Shot Wonders, because every story is different because it's how you play them as well. Yeah. And seeing the spins that people put on them is just, it's a privilege. There's nothing better as a storyteller to have your story taken and expanded upon and turned into a whole campaign. And it's just, it's a privilege. I love it.
It just sounds like you've not witnessed failure yet. Do you know what I mean? Everything you've done is like gold, and you seem like, this must be just what happens.
I'm not sure about that. I mean, there's plenty. We try a bunch of things. Not everything sticks. But we just keep trying, and so we create things that we want as well. And so we launched a stationery line that's done really well as well, because we just wanted a really kind of bespoke RPG notebook with specific, hey, that's the one with room for spell slots at the back and square paper, hex paper, that kind of thing. So we make stuff for ourselves, and I think people gravitate towards that because they are indie players, RPG players, and they can see what we're making is for them and it's for us too. So I think that's probably why our products have resonated so well, and the awards are obviously just incredible. To win One Shot Wonders won the best RPG adventure in the UK Games Expo and at the ENnie Awards at Gen Con, and it's I don't know what to say. It's bonkers. It's amazing. It's wonderful.
Life-changing or not yet?
Yeah, I think it's life-changing a few years ago. Now we're just kind of riding the wave, thinking of new ideas, and just enjoying it. But me and Kay are also running the business as well. So as we keep ourselves really busy. It's much more than a hobby now. This is our lives and our livelihoods, and we're a full-time team of 7 now.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of business to run. It's unfortunately it's not all story writing and brainstorming.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're having fun.
So, are you bored of talking about it yet? Are you getting to that? One-shot wonders
Nope.
again.
I could talk about this all day.
So, are there any hidden Easter eggs and references in the pages somewhere?
Of One-Shot Wonders?
Yeah.
Or of all the books?
Again, well, all of them. I presumed One-Shot Wonders might have some thing.
Yeah. So One-Shot Wonders has got a couple. I know Beth, the co-author, our editorial manager, snuck in a few of her friend names in there, kind of garbled versions of her friends. We were privileged to put a backer's name in one of the adventures as one of the NPCs.
Oh, that was a cool story, yeah.
Yeah, they reached out to us and said that they backed the project, they loved the project, but unfortunately, due to illness, they probably weren't going to be able to see the project when it was printed, which was really moving for us. So we honored them in putting them in the book. That one of the NPCs is named after them, which is really nice. And what else? What other Easter eggs are in One-Shot Wonders?
Are you in it in some form? A character, an NPC?
As a character, I haven't written myself as a character. No. There's a few. I think there's a few homages to our friends and family members, but I don't think we've gone further than that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should put myself in next time.
Well, yeah, I would have thought you would have done. Yeah, I was in the live stream. Have I missed another live stream? I watched your last one.
Not yet. No, we did a test kind of Discord live stream. We're hoping to stream more in the future.
Yeah. Okay, so how did you decide the level of complexity to go with the 2-page setting rather than a 4-page, or is that just your skill again?
As in the one-shots in One-Shot Wonders being just on 2 pages.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, it was just down to a functionality point, really. And the need I had was this book. It's going to have to be bigger than our standard like A5 toolkit size.
Yeah.
So we went for the A4 size, which is double that, obviously. And
it's a tall book. It's a really tall book.
Yeah, but because it needs to fit so much in, it had to be bigger. But then when you lay it out flat behind your Game Master screen, there's not much space for a hardback behind your Game Master screen, which was why One-Shot Wonders had to be everything you need. Like all of your notes need to be there. And again, the functionality of just having it on 2 pages means that you can role play, you can act, you can laugh with your friends, and then when you need to move the story on, all you have to do is glance down, read the next bullet point, read the next scene, look up, and just continue your game. I think something I've struggled with running like pre-written modules, some of the official stuff, is that I get caught off guard when people ask me for the NPC's name or like what's a tavern called in this town, and you end up having to kind of like flick through a few pages to try and find the information you want. So I was really keen on just having everything right in front of the game master, so their job was just made really easy. But it's like everything we try and do. We try and really take down the difficulty curve of running games.
Yeah, like human female scout. But then you put the age in. That's over delivering again. It's like you've only got 2 pages.
Yeah.
But there's everything you need and more. And then you're like, oh, if you want to make it easier, do this. If you want to make it harder, do this. Quick stats, quest rewards. No, there's no need for quest rewards, and yet you've gone to the extra
your players.
Yeah. That's the sort of thing you can make up on it, but you don't have to. It really is a case of the DM's cancelled. What are we going to do? Someone hands you that. It's like my work is done. It's literally it takes 5 minutes to read, and it's in.
Yeah, and it's kind of twofold, really. One-Shot Wonders has been incredibly popular with busy game masters who are just like, oh, I've got, like, this is kind of my story as well. I've got a game on Tuesday. Oh, what can I run? Oh, I haven't got time to prep anything. Open up One-Shot Wonders, read that, boom, done. I've got my quest rewards. I've got my NPCs with flavor text. I've got ideas how to start the adventure. Easier or harder boxes so I can amp it up or down. But it's also been really, really popular with new game masters as well. And so having
bet.
all that information and more, their age and the NPC's age and quest rewards, and making it easier or harder for someone who this is their first time game mastering, that having that safety blanket of like, don't worry, everything's right here. You don't have to do a thing. Just read this and you're ready to go. I think that's resonated hugely with a lot of new game masters, and we get that at conventions. A lot of people coming up to us and saying that they've never tried GMing, but with One Shot Wonders they can give it a go and they had fun, and that's huge. Like getting more people game mastering is huge.
I'll tell you something, it's better than any DM guide I've ever read. I would take that over
Awesome.
reading the DM's guide. You'd be like, yeah, it's a load of things that happen and loads of stuff that's not relevant. That's what you need to run a game, you know. So the next thing is the maps. I'm so desperate. It seems like I've waited ages for this map library that goes with these adventures, right?
Yeah. So the map library launched on Kickstarter in February, and it comes out. It's going to be delivered in January, and it'll be released on our website in February next year. It's here. I've got one over here.
Oh,
it's real.
wow. I've had it in my hand. I was at the Games Expo, pulled out the maps, and I don't think they were laminated at that point, but it was obviously they were going to be trying.
That may have been an early sample, because Games Expo was June, right? So that would have definitely been an early one. But no, this is it. This is the finished thing.
Oh, wow.
We got 5 advanced copies from the printer to sign off, and so I obviously took one home.
Of course.
Yeah, it looks great. And yeah, there's a contents booklet in the front that gives you a list of all the adventures in One Shot Wonders and the map that goes with them. So again, open up One Shot Wonders, find a cool adventure, open the map library, find the map that matches, your session prep's done. But the map library is also, it's full of amazing maps. So if you're playing your Curse of Strahd campaign or your homebrew campaign or whatever it is, the maps in there are brilliant. They're brilliant fantasy maps. So, work perfectly with One Shot Wonders, but also great for homebrew or official things, because they're just lovely maps. Yeah. We worked
really,
with,
I like the lighting, these little like the fire lights on it. It's just a really good design. Very
they're beautiful. Venatus Maps was the illustrator who illustrated the maps. There's I think 5-10 maps in One Shot Wonders itself, and so he did such an amazing job with those maps. And we always wanted to expand that out. So when we did, we just dropped him an email, and he was keen on doing it. But I think it was a lot for him to take on, because there was 100 different maps in there, and some of our briefs were pretty crazy. But he rose to the challenge, and he's amazing at what he does. So we were privileged to have him working with us in such a huge map collection.
And then you announced No Place Like Homebrew. And I looked at that and I'm like, oh my God, this looks fantastic. And the thing is, I completely trust you now. I've seen everything else you've done, so it's like I just couldn't be more on board for that.
I love that.
So what status are we in with that?
No Place Like Homebrew. So the Kickstarter just closed a couple of weeks ago. So that's always an exciting and kind of wild 30 days watching the Kickstarter, just hitting refresh on my browser constantly. Yes, the Kickstarter just closed, so we're getting the pledge manager ready. That should be going out mid-December. And we're writing. We're in the midst of writing. I was writing the deities spread today, a whole load of different deities you can throw into your homebrew worlds. It's a lot of fun to write that one. There's so many ideas in there, and Beth and I have been brainstorming just everything. Temple workers, mountain dwellers, deities, like I said, towns, cities, landmarks. It's just like everything, waterfalls, rivers.
Sure.
So it's really varied to write as well, because one day you'll be writing about a shop, a magical shop it kind of has interdimensional goods in it, and then the next minute you'll be writing about a caretaker for the local temple who trips over his long coat. And so it's a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be really handy, actually, that one. I'm really looking forward to, again, kind of having that for myself, because having NPCs to drop in is one thing on the fly is just so powerful, but also just for world building things. Like countless times when my party have decided let's go to that village, and like, I put it on the map, and I had kind of like a rough idea of what went on in that village. But now it's real because my players are on the way there and they're going to get their next session. So just having a village you can open up and just think, oh, that sounds cool. Even if I change the name of it from No Place Like Homebrew, even if I tweak it, having like a core that you can work on at the drop of a hat is going to be so handy. And the good thing is I get first dibs because I'm writing it. So now I've got content already that I'm already able to use in my home games.
Yeah. I have already reviewed the preview of No Place Like Homebrew, along with these other 10 videos so far. This will be the 11th video in the Roll and Play Press about playlist. And I keep talking to you, commenting to you about Two Shot Wonders, the sequel.
Two Shot Wonders.
When are we getting it?
When are we getting it?
Is it not even an idea really? Or
I need to finish writing No Place Like Homebrew.
Yeah.
So I'm on the treadmill. I would love to do a follow-up to One Shot Wonders. It's just been so well received, and it was such a blast to write. So yeah, let's do some more. Let's do some more adventures. I don't know when that book will be published.
No.
But yeah, I'd love to.
So the only thing you haven't really done, unless you're going to say that you have, is a book of monster stats. You've not reinvented monsters. Am I wrong in that?
No, you're not wrong.
So have you sidestepped that on purpose, basically?
No, I don't think so. It's something that I've definitely thought about. I would love to. I mean, monsters are fun. I'd love to write a whole book on monsters. We are including stat blocks in No Place Like Homebrew. So there are stat blocks for some of the larger entries. So there's one for a bounty hunter. I wrote one for an angel the other day. There are a good number of stat blocks in No Place Like Homebrew. So we are getting our teeth stuck into writing some new monsters and some monsters that kind of fill some gaps as well, like some lower level. The angel I was writing is a slightly lower level angel, because angels start at like CR 10, I think, in the monster manual. So we thought it'd be great to fill in kind of a lower level gap there. So yeah, we are writing some monsters.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to I'd love to write a whole book on monsters. There's a lot I'd love to do still. So we're not done yet.
No. I mean, when I see like Kobold Press's books, which I also love, they bring loads more monsters. And when you try and think of a monster yourself, I'm going to invent a new monster. It's so difficult. There's so many already done, I guess. Do you have a favourite style of monster? If you had to draw one up from your mind, where would your brain go?
Favourite style? I quite like monsters that I think slow the party down is one of my favourites. Like, so like I'm thinking of like anything with like a giant frog. Does that have like a tongue that can like grapple people? Or like, I know vampire spawn can also trade their attack as a grapple as well. So anything that like stops that ranger or like wizard from blasting from afar, if you can get up close and grab them, I quite enjoy those kind of monsters because it scares the heck out of the party as well. I find spellcasters difficult to run, actually. I find that they either go down on round 2 of combat, or they wipe the floor with the party, like a rogue fireball that like I roll really high on, and then someone goes down and panic stations, or someone just gets a lucky natural 20 arrow shot and the caster's dead in round 2. I think I like. What I don't like is like slogfest. I think like having one big monster where the party just have to chisel away at hit points isn't so fun to run, and I'm not sure it's so fun for the players either. So I like to kind of vary it up and put a couple of different types of monsters in combat. So there's more threats coming from different angles, and with different abilities as well. It's kind of how I try and run combat. You'll have to ask my players about how successful that actually is, though.
I know you said wizard there, and it just reminded me of what they used to do. I think it was 3.5. Next to spells, there'd be a very, very short few words on exactly what that spell did, boiled down. Whereas now, stat blocks just say, cloud kill. And you're like, yeah, what does that do? Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's like,
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of reading to do in advance.
it's a
Yeah, yeah.
poisonous fog, but in the old days it was cloud kill poisonous fog, and you're like, okay, thanks, I get
Right.
it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and that's missing. I wish they'd bring that back.
Mhm.
How much into the new rules are you? Are you using them at all? 2025
I'm not.
ish.
I'm not using them yet in my games. So I've run a campaign now for a year and a bit with some friends. Some friends I met at a war gaming social club in Covent Garden in London, and we ran a campaign and have kind of been together ever since. Still running a game for them. The rules came out. The new rules, 2024 rules came out. Kind of. Well, we're kind of like 25, 30 sessions into our campaign now, so I'm not going to make the switch just yet because I think it's going to be quite confusing halfway through to just be like, "Hey, you have a bastion now, go." But yeah, in the new campaign, I'm sure we'll get to a new campaign at some point, and then I think that's probably like a appropriate time to do a bit of a refresh.
Yeah.
They can build characters from scratch, but I've been making my way through my Dungeon Master's Guide. I've got a little bookmark, reading through. It's really interesting actually to see what's changed, and actually not even what's changed from a rules perspective, but just kind of what's changed from like a language perspective as well. Because I've noticed that the rules are they're a lot more user friendly, and they assume, I think, less of a like a knowledge base as well. So there's a lot more beginner friendly tools. I mean, I think on page one it says like to run a Dungeons and Dragons game, you'll need a pen, some Dungeon Master screen, and like all of that stuff. You're like, right, if I was brand new to this, right, I think I understand what I need. So yeah, I
Yes.
think they're good additions, and I think especially like new game masters will benefit for sure.
Yeah, it is really aimed at them. Because you do flick through it thinking, yeah, I know this, but it's just so well laid out this time.
Mm. And the
Um,
worksheets are fun as well.
yeah, yeah, they're useful. Like you say, it's more for newbies, but
Hmm.
we all need a refresh now and again. Because there's things that I'm reading through going, I didn't know that. Even
Yeah,
though it's a
exactly. Yeah,
basic
yeah,
rule, and you're like, yeah, I didn't know that had extra little flavour to it, the extra little details on the end.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So a campaign. Are we ever going to get a campaign in your world you created? Do you think is that on the in your
In
back of your
Mirabilis.
mind? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Again, something that I've thought about a lot, and we've had a lot of discussions actually on the role and play team about, if we were to do it, how would we do it? Yeah, we haven't worked it out yet,
Does he just take
because
a
I
one
think,
shot and make it longer?
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we're all kind of the opinion of like, actually, if we can just like having those one shots, they're so good to like string together as well, that actually
Yeah.
you can create a campaign quite easily from stringing those one shots together. And actually, in the back of the book, there's like a little kind of campaign arc that you can run, as kind of we've strung along. I think it was like 10 one shots on the book. So yeah, so yeah, watch this space. We're still talking about it. We're still kind of working out how that would work. But yeah, yeah, it's not something we're going to dive into yet.
Oh yeah, yeah,
We
yeah.
are kind of, yeah. There's a lot to think about
There is.
before kind of crafting an adventure. The real kind of balancing act is the how much information you put into an adventure, because the more information you put in, the more helpful it is for game masters, but then the more railroaded the adventure is. But on the other
Railroad.
hand,
Yeah.
if you give people not much information and say, "Hey, you could improvise this stuff," then it's actually not helpful for anyone. So, yeah, it's a tricky task. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I look forward to having the big campaign you do on the maps. Then we need some minis though. You
yeah,
have to print out all the minis for us.
yes, it's
You
true.
know.
Well, we have our token box now. That also comes out in February.
All
That's
right.
our alternative to minis.
Yeah. I think the last thing we'll end on here is Baldur's Gate 3. Have you played it?
I have. I actually
How many
completed
hours have you
it
clocked? Oh
about
yeah.
3 or 4 days ago.
All right.
I don't know. Can you see how many hours you've done?
Yeah. It says it on the. Doesn't it say? Where does it
Is it
say
on the
it?
save file?
What are you playing it on? PS5 or anything?
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when it's on that first screen on the home page, it says that how many hours you've clocked before you even
Uh,
press start on the.
oh man, I dread to
Yeah.
think.
It's going to be
But yeah,
hundred
I
plus, I
completed
think.
it. I completed it a couple of days ago. Actually, I played it for a good few hours, and then got to the final boss, and I think I failed it once. And then I had this like mental block with it and just put it down and then just didn't play it for like 3 months. And then picked it up and I was like, I really need to complete Baldur's. Why haven't I completed Baldur's Gate?
Yeah.
So I picked it up again and I got my ending, which was very nice. I had a good ending. I was a good guy. I was a cleric, and had a good ending. But now I'm kind of like, oh man, what other endings? I really want to do a bad campaign now in Baldur's Gate and have a really horrible character. Because I kicked, yeah. I kicked some of the NPCs out of my party because they didn't suit my nice guy cleric. But now I want to go back and have those NPCs because they're really cool.
Well,
but can I sink another like 150 hours in? I don't know.
That new patch added all the new bad endings, so there's even more bad endings on offer now.
Oh, don't tell me that.
Yeah, that's why I'm playing the Dark Urge run, so that it's designed for you to be bad. Yeah. Well, Sam, I look forward to just seeing everything, really. As simple as that, everything you do.
More stuff.
Yeah, give us more stuff, please. Thank you for giving me your time this evening.
Oh, it's been a pleasure, and thank you for all the videos you put out for One Shot Wonders and the toolkits, and we appreciate you and what you're doing, and yeah, we love it. We love seeing videos like that. So thank you.